Oh, hi. So I'm here today with Maggie Lang from Kimpton Hotels. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to chat with you today.
Yeah, it's great to hang out
Yeah,
on Google Hangout. It's exciting.
absolutely. So I'm really excited to hear a little about what you're doing over at Kimpton and let our attendees get to meet you. Currently I know you're the Senior Director of Guest Marketing over at Kimpton, and previously you were at United. So can you kind of tell me what your journey's been like from United to now what you're doing at Kimpton?
Well, it's been an interesting journey to start. Going from a big airline to a smaller boutique hotel was an interesting change. But yeah, I've always, ever since I sort of started my career, I've just been a big voice of consumer, champion in general. It started, at my career in Walgreens when I added, reviews to the site and, letting the consumer have a voice. And then sort of, when I joined the airline, it was just something I was really, really passionate about, is always making sure I've been really, really rooted in customer research and customer feedback and sort of making sure that the customer is always front and center, if that makes sense. And, sometimes that means doing unexpected things. Sometimes that isn't always, popular at a company, and especially, in the travel industry, we have really lean margins, obviously. So it's not, like at technology companies where they can afford to maybe, innovate a little faster or in a more fun way. So yeah, at the airline, the most fun project I had there was rebranding after the two big airlines merged. So I was in charge of, painting all the airplanes and changing all the signs. And so for a while, I stepped away from, direct kind of customer work when I was focused on the rebranding of the airline. But then I just started missing it. I came from sort of the loyalty space when I was at Mileage Plus, and I dealt with sort of the marketing to the consumer there. And I just started missing that interaction and the engagement. And brand is fun and sexy work. It's really, really fun. But I felt like my home is with the consumer. So then I joined Kimpton, and this was really like coming home for me. This is a company that is so customer and guest obsessed that just my cultural beliefs and philosophies around marketing in particular, obviously, but business in general, is to make people's lives better, and I think businesses can do that today. And I think they're waking up, and there's this evolution in business where we're moving away from just the hard dollar and the ROI, and we're actually being very guest centric and customer centric across different verticals. And so that, makes my heart sing. And being here at Kimpton, and, I loved doing all the focus groups leading up to this launch. And I had, members and guests help shape this new experience. We asked them what they wanted, and we gave it to them. And that was just fun. It's fun to be in a company where we're saying, you know what, we're not going to take away. We're going to give more because that's what the consumer wants. So that's sort of been an interesting journey, but a really exciting one. I love the travel space.
Absolutely. I just love hearing and really feeling your enthusiasm for, as you say, being guest obsessed and customer obsessed. I think it really just comes through in everything that Kimpton does in interacting with the brand on Twitter or whatever channel it is. It's really awesome to see a company that's so customer centric. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, I know that you guys are very rapidly expanding. I mean, you have 60 plus hotels in like 30 states, I think. What are some of the challenges with rolling out the new programs that you guys have been doing, whether it's customer experience or outreach or just keeping consistent across those different hotels?
Well, so they're not always consistent, and that's it's an interesting challenge as a marketer. There's a upside and a downside to that. We have 61 hotels that have their own unique identities, and that's part of what makes Kimpton fun. Is we hear from our members is that it's a journey. It's kind of sort of a delight. I know that I'm always going to get the leopard robes. I know I'm always going to get free wine hour. I know every hotel is pet friendly, but apart from some of those programming facts, every hotel is different. So you've got, a big sexy hotel like the Epic in Miami, which is stunning, and it's a high rise and, very elegant and sophisticated. And then you have a hotel here in San Francisco like the Triton that has a Jerry Garcia suite, a suite designed by Jerry Garcia, and has a Haagen-Dazs ice cream room, you know, and has these funky colors and this rock and roll vibe in Chinatown. So, you know, all of our hotels are so unique in their identities. And so what's interesting is we also fully empower our employees at these hotels to make the guest experience local, fun in their own spirit. So fun at the Epic may look very different than fun in San Francisco, but in Chinatown. So you know, what that could look like is when you go to one of our Portland hotels in your welcome amenity, there might be some great craft beers, you know, while when you go to, you know, San Francisco, there might be a great wine from Napa, right? So it's really, as a marketer, that also poses a challenge because there are inconsistencies because of that. There's sort of beautiful inconsistencies, but, you know, think about rolling out a new program. Now all of a sudden this is something that has to be consistent, right? So, you know, we launched Kimpton Karma. I know we're going to talk about that soon, but you know, now we had to get 61 hotels who were used to being their own and creative and empowered. Now all of a sudden they had to all be consistent and talk about the program consistently. So that was a challenge. You know, our culture of empowerment is so fantastic and so fun, but that can also sometimes pose a challenge when you're trying to launch a product. Fortunately, all of our employees are so passionate. You know, we make Fortune magazine's best places to work, you know, in 5 consecutive years now, and our employees love working for Kimpton. And it takes a certain type of employee to be a Kimpton employee. You've gotta want to have fun. You gotta be passionate, and so they all rallied. I mean, we started, you know, 3-4 months ahead of launch, and we did road shows, and we got them engaged, and we had fun little things for them so that they got to have fun in the process, and they got to come visit the home office, and we do monthly webinars where we have, you know, chats where they get to chat feedback, all of our frontline employees. So you know, we got everyone on board, and that I think is the most critical part. We're used to being small, and when you're small, you're more agile. But now we're growing, like you said, very fast. We've got, you know, another 20, 30 hotels in the hopper in new cities like Austin and Milwaukee and some really cool places. So I think our challenge now is going to be scaling, right? So, you know, how do we scale and still keep this unique footprint that we have and this culture of fun, and not become another big brand? That's something we're all, you know, afraid of sort of losing that touch, and we're very focused on remaining heartfelt.
For sure, yeah. I think though that it's great that you guys seem to embrace the diversity of, you know, local hotel areas, but also you're still keeping consistent where it sounds like it matters the most in talking about the brand and thinking about, you know, Kimpton Karma. So, you know, let's talk about Kimpton Karma. Tell me what it entails. I know there's a few different tiers. What does that experience look like?
Sure. So when I started with the company, we looked at the data, and you know, I'm a little data geek, so I sat there and poured over all the numbers, you know, and talked to customers. And what I heard from a lot of road warriors were, I love you guys. If you were in all the cities I traveled to, I would only stay with you. But you're not in Atlanta yet. You're not in New Orleans. You're not, you know, in some of these cities I go to. So getting to Inner Circle is really difficult because it's such a sort of marathon to get to Inner Circle. So, you know, loud and clear, we heard that we needed to add more tiers to make it sort of make our members feel this sense of progress in their journey with us. And we were also razor focused on not taking anything away. You know, in today's environment, I think with loyalty programs, we're hearing it to the right and left, you know, the devaluing of big brand loyalty programs. So it was just critical for us to go swim upstream and not do that, but rather to give more. So we started out saying we're not going to take anything away. People love the free Wi-Fi. They love the Raid the Bar, you know, the $10 credit they can use in the mini bar in the bar. They love free wine hour. They love all these things. So let's keep all that, but then let's add more. Why not? You know, and that's a little bit of that rebellious part of us where we're always saying, why not? Let's swim upstream. Let's see, because we believe inherently that if you give customers what they want and then some, they'll come back and they'll be loyal. And it's not just going to be this transactional loyalty. It's going to be emotional loyalty. They'll come back because they want to. And so that was really the premise of Kimpton Karma. We wanted to create a program that was, different than anything else out there. In addition, there's this whole sort of random layer that we've added to it, and we call these sort of the random acts of Kimpton, where if you tweet to us, or if you attend Wine Hour, you may have a little extra Kimpton Karma here or there, and you'll always know why. We made sure that in your message feed, you'll always know why, but only you will know. That's what I believe is true one-to-one marketing, is that there is no one-size-fits-all, right? So we have our published benefit table, but, if you're a social media maven, you may want to be rewarded for something that you do, and maybe that road warrior who's never in social media but goes to Wine Hour all the time, he wants to be treated uniquely the way he is. So that's really the premise of Kimpton Karma, is treat everybody as an individual, and we sprinkle sort of a little extra Kimpton Karma here or there, just as for fun, just as surprises. We love surprising and delighting, and that's not sort of this corporate thing. We honestly sit here and have fun with it. My social media manager is just having a blast right now, so. It's been a fun journey. Kimpton Karma is really, really cool, and if you haven't checked it out yet, you can go to kimptonhotels.com and learn more. But I think it's sort of been my baby, and the team has worked hard for 2.5 years, so it's been exciting.
Definitely. It looks like a really exciting journey. I mean, you mentioned your social media manager, and I think that's funny because I've come across at least 3 different moments of delay, the Kimpton Karma, the Kimpton Love, I think, and then the Who Does That videos were hilarious.
That was taking a risk.
Yeah,
I was taking a risk.
Absolutely, but it's interesting, and I think everything, like we were talking about earlier, I think everything just stays consistent to the Kimpton brand, and you do have somewhat of a rebellious nature, and that comes through, but it's very playful and delightful.
When they put me on a half man, half goat in my video, I was slightly taken aback, but it does.
Yeah, no, it works. But thinking about how you're scaling these experiences and knowing, like you just talked about, that they are very one-to-one still, what types of tools or processes have really been the most useful in rolling out that one-to-one touch?
So we invested in sophisticated CRM technology, and that's kind of why it took us 2.5 years to roll out, because we really took the time to be thoughtful about the technology that we were implementing. So we went with Salesforce. We're in the cloud now. And the reason we did that is because we want to keep innovating. And I think when, cloud technology just keeps innovating every year. And so you can always add to it, and you can be nimble, and you can be agile. But we took the CRM package and we customized it. To deliver on what I was telling you about earlier, that true one-to-one messaging takes extreme complexity on the back end. So from a programming and a business rules and building this thing, making sure that it didn't add any burden for our frontline employees, we wanted to make sure that they were focused on what they do best, which is that awesome guest interaction. And we wanted to build this sort of Ferrari of tools, which I think we did, but it took a long time, and we're all a little tired. But I will say, it's been technology really is the future, right? So you can build a program, but if you don't have automation and technology, you can't scale. So that's the beauty of what we built. It's been a significant undertaking. We pressed the on button on our new website, on our new program, and our new CRM technology all on the same night, and kind of crossed our fingers and hoped that everything would go well. And it did fairly smoothly, but it was a little nerve-wracking at times. So that's processes. The technology takes takes care of all that. That's the beauty. And if you build automation into it and not make it a burden for your employees to execute on, we've all been there, right? Where you go to that retail store and they ask if you want to sign up for some card or something, and maybe you say yes, and then it's kind of this big old burden for the employee to enter in your information and scan the card. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure that it's sort of a seamless experience, both when you're in our digital environment and then when you go to our hotels. And it's going to keep coming. This was just sort of phase one of our innovation rollout. So it's a fun journey.
That's great. I mean, that's so exciting to hear. And I can't even believe that's just the beginning for you guys, because already it's just been so exciting to watch it unfold. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more about how you guys are supporting your employee experience as well as the customer experience, because that's, what your huddle will be about, creating a culture of experience design. I'm really looking forward to that. So what are you looking forward to at Delight?
I think it's the coolest thing to even go to a conference called Delight. A conference that just fully focuses on delighting and the guest experience. To me, the fact that you guys are even having this conference is sort of like it couldn't be more perfect for me as a professional and, with my values. So I'm just honestly excited to surround myself with people who are equally passionate about this as I am. I think, coming from the heart, listening with your heart, but then also using your head to make sense. And, everything has to make financial sense. We're in business, right? So it's like, how do we ideate, and how do we learn from one another, and how do we bring more sort of consciousness into business and put the guest first? I'm just excited to surround myself with fellow passionate people. So I very much look forward to it.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a great community, and it's just continuing to grow. I know, we're expecting around 350 this year, and I think you'll just see and feel that energy that you're talking about. So we really look forward to welcoming you back to Portland. I'm sure you've been up at the Kimpton branches up here. Actually, the Hotel Vintage Plaza is our official Delight Hotel, so it'll be great to welcome you back.
That's great. I love Vintage Plaza. So thank you guys for hosting it there. The crew and the team there are super excited to welcome you guys. And we can't wait.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Maggie, for chatting with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in a few months.
Absolutely. See you soon.